Hi, I'm Lizanne, and I'm here to go through session 4 of The Art of Letting Go. I'm glad you can make it. I'm going to be talking about animal guides in this session. It's very important to get to know your guides. So I am to get to know yourself, I guess you could say. So I'm going to start talking about wisdom guides and where that comes from. So it's been around for a real long time. Some people know it as shamanism. So it's a very old knowledge that we're looking at. And oftentimes people look at animal behavior to let us know what we should be doing and what we should be preparing for. So examples of that are hornets. So if you see the hornets' nests are being built very high up, it probably means that there'll be lots of snow that year. Other things like watching the bears when they come out of hibernation. So people would follow them and see what kind of food and medicine they would forage for, so that they would know what plants are edible and how to survive in the wilderness and what to look for in the spring, which foods are first that come out from the earth. Different things like that, even spiritual teachings. If you see ravens, for example, it can mean that your ancestors are around. Some people will see butterflies and relate that to people who have passed, that they're flying around them and showing their presence. It's pretty personal, and some of it is just knowledge that human needs to survive. For food, for foraging, for shelter. So, close the door. Sorry. Okay. So, for example, even in dreams, I remember dreaming about a wolf often, and I was going through a difficult time in my life with lots of transition, and I was worried about my family and being able to take care of my family, and I kept dreaming about this wolf, and this wolf would walk around my property in my dream. And so it was telling me that because wolves are very pack-oriented and protective, that I was like the wolf and I shouldn't have to worry, that I would have everything I need and be able to protect my children. So that was pretty comforting. I found out that I'm from the Bear Clan, so Native traditions, many tribes have clans related to the animals, and each of those clans, each of those animals have jobs. And I'm from the Bear Clan, and so usually people from the Bear Clan work in a correction setting, protecting their community. They're healers and medicine people. Like I said, the bears, they'll forage for roots and different things. And so that's how I fit in to the Bear Clan, because I do a lot of healing work, energy work, and I know some medicines out there, and I dream of them also. If people need something, I'm able to tell them which kinds of medicines can be helpful. I'm still learning that, of course. That takes many, many years to learn. So those are different kinds of things that you can think about when we're talking about animal guides and getting to know yourself. So some people are not really familiar with that or have never thought about that. And the way to get in connection with that is even think of your favorite animal, and your dreams, which kind of animals you dream about. Usually they're trying to talk to you in dream time. Animals that you see often. So if you're always crossing a certain animal, they usually have a message for you. Like deers, for example, they represent gentleness, kindness. And maybe you need to be more kind to yourself or to someone else and be more compassionate when you see the deers come around. The snakes, they are good medicine. Some people think not. But they also do lots of clearing of energy because they slither. They slither on the ground. That motion of slithering sweeps the energy. So that's very, very good medicine. And also they protect the forest medicines. So usually, we'll ask them permission to go in to the forest before we go foraging for things. So the ones that people are mostly familiar of is probably the wolf, the eagle, the bear. So I'll just tell you a little bit about the wolf. So the wolf is usually represents the end of a cycle and beginning of a new one. And it talks about courage, having lots of courage to move forward. It's rebirth. And oftentimes the wolves will come in your dream or meditation time. It's linked to intelligence and social family values. And the wolf is very cunning and it can outwit anyone. So that's a good quality. It can also pass without being seen, very quiet, and it's steadfast, so impatient, especially when hunting. It always taken advantage of situations in its favor. So those are a few things about the wolf. The golden eagle, which is the animal guide that guided me with these workshops. So that's why I called my business Golden Journey, was to respect that golden eagle that used to visit me and bring me illumination, spiritual illumination. And it understands the cycle of the sun. The sun's very important in our life. It takes care of us, gives us the vitamins that we need. It's also has really good vision. So it's, how high the eagle flies and it can see everything. And it soars and it waits and it looks at the big picture. And then, when it sees its prey, all of a sudden, that's it. The prey is caught. There's no missing. So it's like a sign for you to grab opportunities coming to you. Just grab onto it. Just move quickly, swiftly through the air and just don't hesitate. Just grab it. It's yours. Also, it gives courage and strength, the eagles, and they also carry our prayers to Creator. So they're very important. And then the bear, like I said, protects the woods, has a huge area that it patrols, and it keeps its young safe. You wouldn't want to cross the mother bear and her young. It will remember things for a really long time. So that's interesting trait, to remember and to know when to move. Is a really good quality. They say the bears represent transformation and astral travel, so they can travel long distances quickly. So when you're dreaming of them, those kinds of messages can come through. So, like I said, the bear will remember something for a long time. So sometimes it's vengeful, which is not such a great quality, but just don't cross the bear. That's all. um, so there is some websites that I enjoy looking at. I do play with some animal cards, and there's a website called Animal Spirit Guide Shamanism, which is pretty good. So www.animalspirits.com is pretty good. So, and the other way you can connect, like I said, is, you know, thinking about what your favorite animal is and which animals you're seeing around your home, when you're driving, when you're walking in the bush, those kinds of things. Pay close attention to who's visiting you. They all have different traits, and then, you can look them up and see what their spiritual qualities are to try to understand the messages. So what I want to do is create an animal guide out of clay. And this is also very stress releasing to be using clay, to be connected to Mother Earth. She's very important for our healing. And when you're using clay, it's really easy to just let out your frustrations, because you can just squish it, you can start over, you can feel the movement of the clay. The clay is alive, and it connects you to Mother Earth, which is super grounding. So I really like using clay as a way to release stress and to learn about yourself, and go through different emotions, because you can get frustrated easily, and you can take it out on the clay, which is wonderful. So it's it has energy because it's live. So I got this clay from Michael's. This is what I like to use. You can use whichever kind you like, but I got the natural clay. So it comes in a box. If you can see that. So it is natural clay. It's about $15. I ordered it, picked it up because of the pandemic. It's wet. It's heavy. I'm going to take it out of the box. So you got to try to keep the bag on it so it doesn't dry out on you. And so it just looks like a big chunk of clay. This is the natural gray clay. I like this one because when it dries, you can put a coating on it, like a matte kind of finish. You just paint that on, and then you can paint whatever you make. If you like it, then you can paint it. So it's really cool. And it will just dry up, and you can keep it forever. And if you want to not keep it forever, you can always just squish it back up and use it again. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty soft, pretty malleable. I use different tools to play with the clay. So like, if you don't have specific tools, it's okay. You can use, like a plastic fork, a knife, toothpicks, anything really to mold and shape it. What I like to try to do is put my emotion into it. So, when I'm going to think about an animal that I want to make, I'm going to think about its body, its size, its muscles, how it feels, how the animal would feel. So I'm trying to tap into all my senses. I'm trying to tap into my ability to, as an empath, I'm trying to tap into the animal itself, the energy of it. I'm trying to tap into the reason why I'm thinking about this animal. Like why I'm interested in trying to make this animal right now. So, and I'm not really worried about perfection, because, you know, that stresses us out if you want things to be perfect. So you're just trying to connect with the earth, connect with the animal, and, you know, gently bring something out. And I mean, you don't have to keep it and paint it, but sometimes we come out with something that we really think is actually pretty good, and then we want to keep it around. This is also good for kids, because their right and left brain are working at the same time. They are using their linear mind to create something, and they're using their creative mind as well. So that helps you sort things out, releases emotions. So it's really good for that. I'm not really sure what I'm making, but you see, it's starting to form. And you just add more clay to it and play around. Clay has cleansing properties for your body as well, your skin. And so that's really important. There's kinds of clay that you can ingest. Different types of clay. There's green, white, yellow, red, and black clay. And I'm just going to put this down so you can see me fiddling with this. So there's different kinds of clay. And clay, there's actually a thing called clay therapy, and it's really old. And it's an old way of treating people. So it's not something that I invented. It exists. And I just tapped into that knowledge, and I thought it was great. It can bring up some primitive feelings because you're playing with clay. And I don't know if you remember being a child and maybe playing in the mud or making mud pies, or in my case, I would try to make my brother eat them, which probably wasn't very nice, but he tried one once. But we used to make things out of clay. We used to copy our parents, so make like little cups, little bowls, little plates, and just play around with the mud, and even put our feet in it. It's great for your skin, just to squish your toes in the mud to feel connected to the earth. And that also helps with depression. If you have depression, using the earth as a modality to move your emotions is pretty neat, and it works. Also, I'm getting into making this animal here. Sometimes if you're upset, clay is like really awesome to let some frustrations out, because you can like pound it, you can poke holes in it, you can I'm so frustrated, almost like a stress ball. You can like let out your emotions first and then start working with it and putting in some good energy. So it's really good for that. And you'll discharge your energy into it. It will absorb your energy. So that's pretty cool. And you can feel that in your field, like it starts to calm and relax you, which is really awesome. So usually you'd start, a session by releasing the aggression, the stress, and then slowly start to make something. And always remember to be forgiving of yourself, to know that it's not going to be perfect, that you can allow for a little bit, it's not going to look like the perfect animal if you're not good at it yet, if you haven't sculpted anything. So you just kind of play with it. So I was making a cat, and now I don't know. I'm thinking my cat is too thin, so I'm adding some clay to it, because I think I want it to be more like 3D or something instead of one-dimensional or two-dimensional. So I'm going to add some clay to it. So I just like stick some clay on, so I'll make them a little chubbier, and just keep working with it, and then trying to imagine what the cat feels like when I pet it, and how I know, what the cat's head is like, what their little ears are like, what their purr is like, and how comforting that is to me to have a cat, laying with you at night, purring. It's very healing, they say, and cats are pretty spiritual also. So I'm kind of looking at him going, oh yeah, like his ears are kind of like this. I can just imagine myself petting my cat. So start to get some little ears, and you think about the little face, and then you start to be able to shape it, just using your fingers, like just real gently. This clay is really soft, and it's not that messy. Cleans off really good. So other things clay is used for, like the edible clay, is for it's an anti-inflammatory, so it's really good if you have inflammation. It's an antiseptic, so there's clay bandages that people would use when they didn't have access to what we use today. So you would just put the clay on your sores, on an allergic reaction to something. It was very, very handy to have clay. It was good disguise too, if you were being chased. You can hide in the mud. It also helps with eye problems, intestinal problems as well. And the clay has lots of calcium and iron, magnesium, potassium, sulfur, and silica. It can cleanse your bowel wall. So if you get the ingestible clay, you can use it to clean your intestines. So if you have irritable bowel syndrome or anything like that, you can use the clay. Not all clay is you can ingest. Just there are certain kinds that you can ingest. So it's kind of looking a little bit more like a cat. So you guys this is kind of a big chubby cat. It's starting to look like a cat. Cats are independent, and they can take care of themselves pretty much. As long as you feed them and give them water, they're pretty good. They also like to be together, family oriented. They like attention. They like to be cuddled and held and stuff. And sometimes not too long. Sometimes you get a really independent cat who doesn't like to cuddle too much. Just on their own time, they got really good boundaries. So they know when enough is enough. They won't take any. They probably, I've seen a few cats take on a few dogs. Like, they're not going to put up with stuff. They're going to stand up for themselves. So it's good teaching for people to be able to keep boundaries and to learn to be independent not over depend on other people for their self-care. They're always doing self-care, the cats. They're always licking themselves and cleaning themselves. So self-care is really important to them. And, it should be important to us as well, that self-care, because, you can't really go on if too well if you're not taking care of yourself. So cats, teach us quite a bit. So I need to take a chunk out of here, trying to form the legs. So it's kind of looking more like a cat as I go along. So that for your skin, the clay will bring elasticity, so make you look younger. Nice. So there's green clay for the scalp. It's called French green. And there's white clay for radiance of your skin. So it's kind of like what they use in baby powder and talc powder. Yellow clay will tone your skin and will regenerate and oxygenize your skin. Especially if you have oily skin, it's good to use the yellow clay. The red clay will give you a glow, obviously, because it's red. And the black is used in Asia for fair complexions, so to help with the sun, stuff like that. So Indigenous people around the world practice eating earthy or of soil-like substances, such as clay and chalk. So animals do that also. And of course, when we were kids, we probably ate some dirt. And that's actually something that our bodies need. So as we're young and we're sticking that dirt in our mouth, we're getting the minerals and things from the earth when we're doing that. And we're just little kids, so it's on a subconscious level, because I'm pretty sure our parents told us, don't eat that, don't eat the dirt. But it's actually a good thing, and animals do it. Of course, birds do it. And you'll see animals licking the pavement, stuff like that, getting the salt from it. So it has its benefits to ingest clay. What else should I say about that? Oh, there's in the DSM-5, they call it a disease, and they call it pica, where people are eating things that are not food. But there's usually a deficiency in the body where you're craving that. So clay is actually nothing more than the very finely eroded particles from water-washed mountains and rocks that have been washed downstream and settled into generally homogeneous deposits where water has flowed. So it's very, very rich, very good for you. So NASA has also done some research about clay, and it increases oxygen levels on the Earth, and it sustains complex multicellular and animal life. So it's important to life to have clay on the planet. And Martin Kennedy, professor of sedimentary geology and geochemistry, clay increases in the ocean over 200 million year period between 1.1 to 0.54 billion years ago. So it's really old. and it has its purpose for all the living creatures in the ocean. Um, Also, there's someone named Mike Devine, who's pretty famous artist, clay sculpting, and he is a police officer for the New York police, and he does stuff online, and he uses it as therapy for all of the traumatic things that he sees and deals with on a daily basis at his work in New York. You can imagine what that's like. In the situations he's been in. And he says that working with clay and making sculptures has helped him tremendously with post-traumatic stress, with stress in general, with dealing with his emotions, and dealing with the things that he has to deal with at work. So that is basically the session about animal guides and clay. It would be way better if we can interact while I go through this workshop. But I'm going to keep working on my cat. I'm going to think about how my cat comforts me. How, again, like how the cat is shaped. Thinking about when I pet my cat, so I know how the back kind of goes this way. The tail's usually sticking up, and even the back, like how the leg turns in this way. And I'm kind of looking at it, looking at my clay design, and just using my imagination's feeling senses, remembering comforting times when I'm petting my cat. So it kind of helps you to be able to shape it better if you're connecting with it. The belly of the cat. You can put as much detail as you want into it. Like I said, you can get yourself some little tools and make it all perfect. You see how big that foot is? It's kind of too big. I'm going to take a piece of that off. So, I wouldn't mind seeing your designs and what you come up with. You can post comments. That would be great. I haven't seen too many people post comments, but I see some people are watching the videos. I'd like to know how you like them and what you thought of them. That kind of thing. I'm not too used to doing this kind of work in this format, but as are the times we're living in right now. So like I just add some little pieces, see, to make the muscle of the leg. So I'm just gonna press it down and move it into the clay. You can go to a natural food store and buy that edible clay also, if you're interested in that. This is definitely a chubby cat. Well, actually, it might be one of my first cats. When I was a teenager, I had this cat. I moved out on my own, and I had this cat named Smokey, and I wasn't used to being in my own place, and she just made it great. She just made it home, and I didn't feel so lonely. She would sleep with me, watch TV with me. And then after I got her fixed, got her spayed, she got really chubby. And she was such a good cat. Her name was Smokey. And she was a gray tabby. Maybe that's who I'm remembering. That first cat. I never had a cat before that. I always had dogs. And I was living alone in Permian. I was going to university and I was lonely. And so I got this cat and I just loved it. Like I could go to school, go to work all day, come back home, and the cat's okay. And I don't have to get someone to put it outside because it's got a litter box. And it's always happy to see me. And it's really great. And I guess I became more of a cat person after that. And I've always had a couple of cats ever since. I have 2 cats now. My kids enjoy cats too, and they've always had cats around, and they also find the cats comforting, and they have their own cats now. And also, like, people say, oh, you have this animal guide, and they always say they always have the same animal guide, but you don't. They change. They'll change as you go through life. As things are happening in your life, different animals will come in, and you'll have different animal guides. You'll keep the same clan if you know your clan, and if you're of that beliefs, cultural belief system, but your guides will change. They all have different roles. Well, I had an owl. Owls are interesting. Some people don't like them. Some people think they announce death. They definitely announce a huge change. And what I like about them is that they can see in the dark. They're very good hunters at night. And, they don't need any light to see. So it kind of, what I was taught is that owl can go in really dark spaces and pull out light. So if you've been in traumatic situations, that owl can go into that trauma and pull out the good things and pull out the light, the pieces of information that people around you need. Usually we go through things for a reason, and we become able to help others avoid so much heartache that we had to go through. And so an owl is talking about you being able to do that, being able to go into the dark parts of your soul and dark memories and pull out good things that can help you or others around you. So that's pretty neat guide. The turtles, they represent the earth, and they represent the water and caring for the water. So that's a good one if you like the water, and if you pray for the water. The squirrels and chipmunks, if you see them a lot, sometimes they're talking about your clutter. Maybe you need to get rid of some things in your home. Declutter your life, declutter your emotional baggage, your physical baggage. So they talk about that. They also talk about storing things for the winter. They work hard. They make sure things are, they have what they need, especially in this time. Kind of, I guess people want to be prepared in times of pandemic and to have enough water and things like that. So those little animals teach you about that. The mice, they teach you about maybe you're too scattered and maybe you need to prioritize things, or you're missing something. You're missing something small. You got to pay more attention to detail. How they scurry all over the place. They're very quick, and so it's like telling you, you kind of need to slow down and pay more attention to detail. So anyways, it's starting to look more like a kitty. You can see some muscle tone in the back, like how there's that hump there from the legs, and they're kind of skinny on the top. Cute little tail. Paws are starting to look good. The face is starting to look kittyish. I'll probably need to add some here because he's kind of skinny on the side. So you just keep adding, thinking about what you need to think about. And just enjoy playing with it. And then, if you don't like it, squish it, start over. It doesn't take too long to dry. So you can dry it out too if you like what you made. So this isn't a technique class, so I'm not teaching you how to make the perfect sculpture or sculpturing class. I'm using it more as a therapy basis. So, you can get as detailed as you want, or not at all. Or you can just keep building and breaking, working through your emotions. So there's my key. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you had a bit of fun working on yourself, taking care of yourself. It's really important. The next session 5, will be about dream analysis. So that's pretty interesting. I'll teach you how to build a dream pillow and what kinds of medicines to put in it, how to keep a dream journal, and things like that. So yeah, I hope to see you again, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Miigwech.